Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS. Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS. Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Apex Racing TV's presentation of the Radical Esports Cup. J.R. Gregory here on the call. Beside me in the commentary booth, my partner, Racing Ron Mons, and in the production carrier, our friend and colleague, Joshua Wilkie. And just a quick word as we start here, there may be some network difficulty that is affecting our audio. If that is the case, bear with us. We are going to work on that and see if we can get that squared away on the fly here. But in any event, the start of today's show here, the Radical SR10, 425 horsepower, 725 kilos, no traction control, no ABS, and folks, we are showing the top split of today's race on the public server, 2100 GMT, as we do every Friday. So this is not a league event or a private event. You can show up here and try your hand with these Radicals and appear on Apex Racing TV. And I'm here to tell you, as I do every week, that mastery of the Radical SR10 will make you better at every car that you drive. The car control, the reflexes, the skill on the brakes that are required to handle these cars are truly unique on the iRacing service. And there's a couple of great tracks coming up yet before this season is over. Next week, Mount Panorama, and week 12, the season concludes in Donington Park. So plenty of racing action left if you're interested in joining us here on the Radical Esports Cup. But here we are, week 10, Monza, located just north of Milan, Italy. This course was built in 1922, so it just passed its 100-year anniversary. It has been host famously of the Formula One Italian Grand Prix since 1949, also host to World Endurance Championship and many other events. Today's configuration is unique and circled on everybody's calendar as soon as it came out. It's 5.6 clicks and 9 turns, notably omitting the traditional turn 1 and turn 2. That's that low-speed, tight chicane known as Variante del Refugio. And folks, we are going to see some mad drafting here today. I took a couple laps during a practice session here, and I'm here to tell you, when you come out of Parabolica, where you see Kyriakopoulos here exiting onto the front straight, you come out of there with the correct timing and pick up a draft. It can take 0.5 or a whole second off of your lap time catching a draft down this insanely long straight. And what is that also is going to do is back up the brake point for our new turn 1, which is normally the second chicane. So the faster you go, the further back you're going to have to woe these things down to catch the new turn 1. And I think that we may, Ron, see some issues there, some fights over to the entry to that corner. You're seeing it here now. Gonzaga breaking to take that left-hand corner, that left-right chicane. Normally the second chicane, but today the first chicane. And Ron, I think we might see a little bit of hargy-bargy on that entry. What do you think?
Well, I think we are going to see plenty of drivers giving each other argy-bargy action going through that corner, especially on lap 1. I don't want to compare apples to oranges, but I have covered a series that raced at this track back in the summer. I think it was probably June or July of 2023, but they ran at this track in the GR86s and the Monza MX-5s, and the racing in that series was absolutely incredible. So I think with these cars that drift so well together, I gotta imagine we're in for one hell of a race here coming up later on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as qualifying is winding down here, looks like we just finished qualifying. But let me tell you, your current top 10 are Lamba, Friedrich, McCutcheon. Barry has dropped out of the top 3. Reese, Ianni, Gonzaga, Caruso, Vitorino, and Reitnen. That's your top 10 on the season, and a number of these drivers here. So you're going to see some of the best radical wheelers on the service here lined up at Monza. And there's your starting grid. Daniel Lamba, the season leader, will have pole. We'll have Nascimento next to him in the front row. That's not a familiar name to me. Sebastian Lipp and Christoph Lipp there in 2 and 3 and 4. Interestingly, Myron Ianni and Kettle Larson there in 5 and 6. Kyriakopoulos and James Barry in 7 and 8. Barry having dropped down to P4 on this season after some struggles. And as we keep going there, we have Kolchik and Gonzaga in 9 and 10. Kadura and Crab behind them. Woodward, Hulkinen in 13 and 14. Dibden and Walters in 15 and 16. And taking up the rear there is
Remember, it's not driver out of Scotland here. I don't know. Yeah.
And I'm hearing from my producer that we are still struggling with our audio here, and our apologies for that. We're going to keep tinkering with that as we wait for this start here. But let's see.
Coming in super echo and digitally chopped up.
All right, the clock is ticking down here on the grid, and that is Daniel Lamba. You'll see there on your right. He is going to have the inside line going into turn 1 at the end of this long straightaway, and there we go. We are green here at Monza. It's going to be Lamba from Montesena from Lipp, the Lips. And Myron Ianni there in P5. Not much shuffling so far as we make our way past the traditional turn 1 and 2. We're just going to skip that, which I know these drivers are loving. It can be a very awkward low-speed first gear corner there. And here we are making our way under the bridge, and this will be the new turn 1 for the purposes of today's battle. Lamba's going to have the outside entry and manages to get away on the start there so he can take the traditional line. And already the hargy-bargy begins there in the old turn 3 and for this race, turn 1, as the cars head into the Lesmo complex. Fairly clean, though, really, compared to what I was expecting. And there's the commentator's curse. That is number 16 of Kadura. He's going to loop it going through Lesmo 1 and pack it into that inside barrier. And you can see that Kadura has picked up damage from that. So a rough start for a couple of these drivers already. And here we are as we go through lap 1. That is Lamba making his way through that backside chicane, making our way for the first time through the Parabolica. And keep an eye on your cars here, folks. My goodness, the draft, it is shocking how much your terminal velocity can increase if you come down the straightaway with another car in your lead. And in the back there, we still see some side-by-side action. That is Woodward and Friedrich contesting the entry to Parabolica, and also Hulkinen and Dibden doing the same behind. And here we are coming on to the front straight to complete lap 1. And you can see that draft already going to work as Dibden is going to squeak past Woodward there immediately. Got a couple other line of cars there, and Nascimento may be engaged in a little bump drafting there with Lamba. Yeah, there's some contact, and the faster you go here, folks, you really have to be cautious on your braking point for your entry to this untraditional, non-traditional turn one, because that braking point can move back in a hurry the faster you go. But Lamba and Nascimento are going to get through there clean, and your top five, your running order right now is Lamba from Nascimento, from Lip, from Iani, followed by Kettle Larson. Looks like Krochik has moved up a couple of positions. Paul Crabb has moved up 4. Gonzaga has made up 1. And Tony Dibden, the hard charger, so far moving up 5 positions to round out your top 10. And it looks like, Ron, unfortunately, still struggling with these audio issues. Kind of seems like a network issue with Discord, but we'll see how that goes. We're still working on that for you. But in the meantime, I'll try to pull out a couple of Ronisms there so you don't miss them too badly in that top 5. I would say on behalf of Ron that you could cover those cars with a blanket. A nice train is forming up front, and on these high slipstream type of tracks, that tends to happen in these radicals. You've got to be in that train or you're going to get left behind, especially on this long straight. And it is still Lamba from Nascimento, from the Lips, from Iani. And 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 cars in that train. So that's going to include Chettle Larson as well. And a little bit of dice in there, Lip v. Lip. And one of the Lips pushing the other one off into the grass. Very hazardous place to flirt with the boundary and flirt with the grass there. And you can see that draft just sucking that third place car of Lip up against the back of Nascimento. He had to lift to avoid contact there. And that is going to be the story of this race. These radicals have such a powerful draft. It is truly shocking the difference in top speed when you're behind another competitor. And here is lap 3 underway. Not a lot of shuffling so far. The cars are nose to tail as the drivers kind of adjust to this big draft and make their plans for the future. This may be one of those tracks where you don't want to be in P1 on the last lap. It may end up being a sitting duck, and we'll see what happens this time through. Got it.
Yeah.
I think I may be back. I may be alive. My audio issue, I hope is fixed.
No.
Oh. Oh, Lord.
It's coming from. So, yeah, you're.
All right, pardon the pause there. Having some background conversations here with and Ron, trying to get him back online, and we're still fighting those audio issues, and our apologies for that. These technical demons do pop up every now and then, but from somebody who's been gaming online since the 80s, I can tell you the fact that we can bring drivers together for all over the world and have close racing here is nothing short of a miracle for old guys like me. But here we are on lap 4. As the cars come off that back straight and pile into turn 1 there. And looks like, Crabb has moved up a little bit. Friedrich is making his way up from the back as see him give a little smooch to Woodward ahead. Friedrich somehow started from the back of the pack and is working his way up. He's gained 3 positions, but at P14, he has got a mountain to climb in front of him. And as we watch them come through the Lesmos complex here and onto the back straightaway. And this is Varianti Ascari here as I'm still memorizing my names of the Italian names of these corners here at Monza, but that is Ascari about halfway down the back straightaway. Slows the cars a bit on their eventual arrival at Parabolica to complete lap 4 here. We're about a third of the way through this one, and like I said, not a lot of shuffling. These cars have kind of lined up nose to tail, and people may be planning their big moves toward the end of the race. It really doesn't do a lot of good to make a big move to get ahead early, because you become a sitting duck toward the end. And there is Lamba. Nascimento literally painting his bumper with a couple of Lips behind him. The Lips are going to go around the outside. This may be a couple of teams of cars cooperating with the bump draft there, and one of those Lips is going to be propelled all the way up into P1. Lamba falling to 2 now, with the second Lip kind of sniffing around behind him. My goodness, and you saw that draft at work there. I think that is the P4 car, Sebastian Lip, who took advantage of that draft and managed to pass a couple of competitors there and make his way all the way up into P1. So now it's Lip from Lamba, Christoph Lip behind him, and Nascimento kind of getting the short end of the stick there, knocked down 2 positions by that exchange on the draft as we're back on to the back straightaway now. And since we're having technical problems, I might as well add a nagging cough to our Apex Racing TV coverage here today. It's sometimes you get the elevator, folks, and sometimes you get the shaft, and things are going a little rough for us here, but hopefully that won't detract from your enjoyment of this fine racing. And that bump drafting is continuing here. Lamba returning the favor now. I'm betting that he's going to be giving Lip a little push down the front straight to try to improve his position. He's got Christoph Lip behind him. We'll see if Christoph Lip and Nascimento pair off and get some bump drafting done as we saw on the previous lap. And yeah, Lamba definitely giving Lip a push here. The draft is pulling Christoph Lip right to the back of them. And my goodness, we're setting up a 3-wide approach. I mentioned Hargy Bargy in the beginning. We may be getting some here, and now it's 2 Lips up front, and Nascimento is going to take advantage, getting past Lamba, and can he get past Sebastian Lip as well? On the inside entry into turn 1, and he does get it done. Oh, and Lamba gets turned there. Lamba getting the lip service coming out of that chicane, and he is going to fall all the way to P5 in that transaction, and that is unfortunate for him. That is your season champion. He's got a pretty big pad, so this isn't going to cost him his position in the championship, I don't think, but he can't be happy about that little smooch that he got in the chicane. And we're going to get a replay of that from Josh right now, and you see Lamba here tries to go 3 wide on that entry into turn 2. That may not have worked in the best of circumstances, and he may have turned in on his competitor there. So racing incident there is going to drop Lamba to the back, and boy, that P4 position in this front train seems to be the sweet spot to turn it into a P1, which we've seen happen the last 2 laps here. And we'll see what happens this time through. Curva Grande here slows the cars a bit, but not much, more or less flat. Or I'm sorry, we're in Parabolica now, setting up for our dash down the front straightaway on lap 7, riding along with Kjetil Larsen. He's sitting in P4, and as I said, last couple laps, P4 has been the sweet spot to really take advantage of that draft. And now that we got a 5-car kerfuffle up front here, the Lips are helping each other along, little bump drafting going on there. And they get past Nascimento, who's going to cover the inside to keep Larsen at bay. But we'll see what happens here. And that's Nascimento on the inside, 3 wide into turn 1. And Nascimento elbows out, gets the move done, but a little bit too much curb there, upsets that Radical. And that is our second top runner that meets the kitty letter there on the exit of turn 2. And my goodness, who could have seen action in that opening chicane before this one? Oh, wait. Yeah, that was me. I saw all this coming. So Hargy nonstop here. We're on, oh my gosh, we must be on lap 7 or 8, and it has already begun. And watch Nascimento here, gets the move done. Pretty solid, tasty move there, but that little bit of contact upsets the rear of that Radical. He might have been applying too much throttle. The car turns, and that will drop Nascimento now all the way back to P8. That is 6 positions down from his qualifying position, and that is going to hurt. He was right up there in the thick of it with a chance to win, frankly. Those top front 4 cars have been switching positions virtually on every lap, so he was right in position to take the top step of the podium, and probably not going to happen now. Now we've got Sebastian from Christoph Lip, followed by Larsen and Iani. That's the group up front. And this time, Iani is going to be sitting in what we have seen to be the catbird seat P4. He has so much extra velocity from that draft. He kind of gets to choose what's going to happen on this entry to turn 1. And more bump drafting going on there. A little bit rolling the dice, making contact with these Radicals at speed. But so far, nobody has had to pay the price for that. And it looks like it's going to be lip from Larson from Iani this time. No change of position as those lips have worked together with a little bump drafting to protect themselves from people behind. And now we got Woodward taking a little peek around. Looks like he was looking at the back of Hulken and thinks better of it. So that's my goodness, that's Hulken and Dibden and Woodward there, the 3-car train, and you can see goodness, losing track of what is going on here. That must be Walters up ahead of them. So, my goodness, nonstop action here at Monza. I kind of had a feeling that the extra velocity of eliminating that first chicane was going to add some action, making it clear why they choose not to run the full old straightaway. They've added a number of chicanes here over the years. And, of course, you can't look at that first chicane without thinking of that famous moment between Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen on top of each other, literally there in turn 1 in the standard F1 modern configuration. But yeah, we're not using that one in today's race. We're seeing what the result of that is. And here is some more bump drafting. We got European NASCAR going on here in the wine country of Italy, or Milan. I guess we're in the fashion district, actually. And so that is Sebastian from Christoph Lipp. They're bump drafting down the front straight. They've worked a pretty good gap doing that. Looks like about a 0.3 gap to Larson behind, but Larson closing him down on the entry to turn 1. It's happened on every lap so far, but this time again, no swap in position. So those lips have a lip lock on the front 1 and 2. And sorry about the constant lip puns, but I haven't seen these guys before, and to have 2 of them running together, I really can't resist. So say what you will in the comments, but I'm going to continue giving this situation lip service for the next 6 laps. So it's lip from Larson from Iani, and Lamba has fought his way back up into P5. And what is that gap? Yeah, he's about 3 seconds back of Iani, so he may not be able to rejoin that group, although you know he wants to after getting spun out of turn 2 after being in the thick of it initially. Whew, and my goodness. The lips now going side by side. They may be trading positions for this trip down the front straight with those identical liveries. I may have missed what happened there. Yeah, that was a pass. That's going to be Christoph now ahead of Sebastian this time around. There was a pass there going into Parabolica. So it's Christoph from Sebastian Lipp, Larson, and Iani are this front 4. And the front 4 has been where all the action has been taking place. I believe that is a back marker that you're seeing in the background of that fight. And here's Lipp working that bump draft again. And we'll see what happens this time through. It's Lipp, and that's Iani kind of sniffing around the inside there, a little side-by-side entry. And that Larson manages to squeeze his way in between the lips. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, although not really. So it is now Lipp, Larson, Iani, and Lamba are your top 5. And is that 16 car Lamba? No, that is a back marker. That's Samir Kadura.
Yep.
As he picked up some damage early on. We saw him turn his car and hit the barrier in Lesmo, and looking at that car now, yeah, he stopped for repairs. So Kadura likely a number of laps down here and just going along for the ride with this top 4. And looking at Lamba, yeah, he's still 2.5 seconds back, so he may not be able to rejoin this one without any help from another car drafting him. So he is way back there. And Kadura might be getting a little love message for some flashing headlights. Some of those top 4 competitors asking that he step out of that top 4 battle. We'll see if he wants to comply with that. But here we are, lap 11 now. It is Christoph from Sebastian Lipp, Larson, and Iani kind of running away at the front here. And yeah, that is Larson. That's Iani flashing. And he is going to wiggle his way in between these lips this time. And can he make that stick? Is he going to go for the twofer? No, he thinks about it, shows his nose inside, and cannot push all the way past Sebastian Lipp. So it's going to be Sebastian from Larson, from Christoph, from Iani. And is all this fighting allowing Lamba to bring down that interval at all? No, it really isn't. He's been sitting about 2.5 seconds back of this group for several laps now. So very difficult to gain any ground on a train when you don't have anybody to help you with the aero. So so far, it looks like Lamba has kind of fallen out of contention due to that contact and spin back in turn 1 several laps back. But Larson looking solid here. He's coming up from a qualifying position of P6. So as he sits right now in P2, he has moved up 6 spots. Really outstanding work by Larson. And that is... So that may have been Iani kind of sniffing around on that entry to the Parabolica there as we're coming down to the last third of the race. We're beginning lap 12 of 15, so just a handful of laps left. These drivers may kind of be settling in and making their decisions about their last lap moves. And just as I say that, nope, that is going to be Larson. He moves over out of the draft, and he is, at least for the time being, in P1 with the Lips behind him, but that draft is still pulling those cars, pulling his competitors up behind him. We'll see if he can maintain that P1 going into turn 1. He is going to cover the inside, and he is safe for now. So it's going to be Larson from Sebastian, from Christoph, from Iani. And again, I think that is a back marker there. That is Kadura at the back of that train. So he's just along for the ride at this point and not battling in position. And back behind Kadura, you can see a few car lengths there. That is Lamba trying to make something happen here, anything. And here we're taking a look now at James Barry. It's Barry against Gonzaga. Barry sporting a new livery to try to maybe break this run of bad luck that he has had recently. And is that Nascimento there in front? Yeah, that's Nascimento. And Barry and Gonzaga, they have formed up a little train. Barry is going to come out ahead there. So that is a pass for position that moves James Barry up into P8. And that is that threesome there, Barry, Krolczyk, and Gonzaga, as we're coming off the back straight into Parabolica to complete lap 11, I believe. Lap 12 already underway as Larson goes past the start finish. And now Larson is going to be under assault from these Lips. The Lips bump drafting on the outside. And yeah, that one is over. Larson kind of gave up on that. Now riding along with Iani, looking forward at Larson. And Iani, again, in that sweet spot, number 4. He's going to have the velocity and kind of get to choose his move here coming down into turn 1. And he's peeking inside of Larson. Thinks better of it. Very difficult to get these radicals woed up right there. No ABS. They're starting to lighten up due to lesser fuel load here. And so it's going to be Lipp. That is Sebastian Lipp from Christoph, from Larson from Iani. So those two bright yellow schnitzel cars are going to be clogging up the podium so far. Although certainly Larson and Iani are both in position to make something happen. As long as they can hang on to the back of this train, they will be in fine position on that entry to turn 1. Although it seems to have stabilized a little bit. Larson has been able to interject himself into that mix a couple of times, but last couple times through it has been Lipp from Lipp here. And you can already see the bump drafting starting. Gosh, I don't want to jinx him. I keep waiting for that bump drafting to go bad. It's kind of a delicate procedure, especially on these radicals. They don't really like bumping and brawling and being upset, but I'm betting that those Lips have practiced this, and this was their agreement coming into this one because it is working well for them so far. And here we are crossing the finish line again. This is lap 14, only 2 left, and those Lips are going to switch position now. Larson looking ahead. You can see that draft pulling him forward and that interval dropping. Larson waiting. Lips weaving a little here. That may be from the contact and that bump draft. Hard to say. And now it looks like they're going to kind of work as a team here to cover the inside entry to turn 1. And my goodness, Larson must feel like it's him against the world right now. Those Lips not giving him any help whatsoever and kind of clogging any move that he might make. And that is Barry. Was that a pass for position there. Kind of lost
Yep,
track of
drop
that
past Drake.
situation. And no, that's Nascimento making a move there. So a lot going on here, and most of it going on in that initial chicane. And we're going to pop back up front here. And entering the Variante Ascari, the Ascari chicane that breaks up the back straight on lap 14. So we're going to see the white flag around this time as these cars come around Parabolica. And it is this time Christoph Lipp from Sebastian, from Larson, from Iani, although Iani has fallen back now 1.8 seconds back. He may be out of the draft at this point on the last lap, not the position that he wanted to be in. I'm sure he wanted to contend here on that final lap 15 entry into turn 1, but it is not going to happen. There's going to be Larson versus the Lips here, and we're seeing the same maneuver that they made last time around. The Lips may switch position. Larson is going to take the big dive to the inside, and what a move. My goodness, the Lips side by side trying to cover the inside. Larson says, no, you're not going to get me that way this time. Larson goes into P1 for the moment, but that draft is still working. Some contact, and we have lost a Lip hard off the wall. Now it's just Christoph Lipp versus Larson. Christoph takes the inside to turn 1. The other Lip rolling backwards down the track, wrecked now. Oh my goodness, and a little bit of contact there, and this is kind of what I was looking for during those bump drafts. Got to be super careful. Oh my goodness, yeah, and Sebastian kind of trying to poke around the outside of Larson there, and that costing him that racing incident, and he may have towed. Yeah, Lipp has binned it and said, forget it. So we're down to a single Lipp here, and will Larson have an opportunity to get past him, or is Christoph Lipp going to take the win? Right now it's Lipp from Larson from Iani, and not a lot that Larson can do here, frankly. There is a drafting opportunity coming into Parabolica, but difficult to stick it in the inside. So we'll see if Larson is able to get anything done here. Have to have a really good roll on the power and a bobble by Lipp here, you would think, to make anything happen. And yeah, it's not going to work out for Larson. He fought valiantly against two guys essentially working against him. And correct me if I'm wrong. It's always possible, I guess, that these guys didn't know each other, but I have a feeling that they did the way they were working together. And Larson, despite fighting valiantly there, not able to get that pass done before start finish. But my goodness, what a race. Great effort by these drivers in dealing with the massive draft and the traffic that was pileups that were happening there on that entry to turn 1. Wow, that was a fantastic one there. My goodness. And I know that this has been circled on the calendar. Monza, a very popular track, but that turn 1-2 chicane, very awkward and definitely breaks up the flow of the track. And it's kind of easy to get frustrated by that chicane and easy to complain about it. But you see what the result is when it's not there, and you kind of see why they decided to add it, because my goodness, the terminal velocity and traffic jams coming into turn 1 are serious business here, particularly in these radicals where the draft is so strong. Woo! Holy cow. Well, that was something. And again, folks, our apologies for any audio glitches here. We're going to work on that and make sure that we have that squared away prior to our next presentation next week. But we hope you enjoyed the race nonetheless. And that was really, really something. Holy cow. And Josh, when you're ready, we'll run through those final results. And interestingly enough, the top 3 there all moved up significantly. Christoph Lipp will be in your P1. He moved up 3 positions. Larson will come in P2. He moved up 4 positions. And Myron Iani moved up 2 positions to get that P3. Then you've got Lamba after his little crash, after that tussle being up front. Nascimento also had a little hargy-bargy that sent him into the kitty litter. He'll be followed by Crab, Barry, Krolchik, Friedrich, and Jorge Gonzaga is going to round out our top 10. Dibden, Hulkinen, Walters, Woodward, Kyriakopoulos, the last finisher there in P15, and Lip and Kadura. Well, I think Kadura did take the flag, actually. He came back out after getting repairs. Lip took the tow, but because of the time it took to get for Kadura to get his car back on the track, Lip is going to end up squeaking ahead of him in P16, and Kadura will round out your grid in P17. My goodness, and what a race. Gosh, I wish I could hear Ron's thoughts on this right now, but it is not going to happen today, folks. And again, we're going to see if we can get that squared away. And I'm also going to make an executive decision here, Josh. With our audio problems, I think we'd be playing with fire to even attempt an interview here. So I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap this one. And we are going to have this squared away for you for next week's show at Mount Panorama. So these radicals are going to be super exciting between those unforgiving concrete barriers at Mount Pano. So we hope that you will join us for that one. So until then, join us next Friday, 2100 GNT, for week 11 of the Radical Esports Cup at Mount Pano. And until then, I am J.R. Gregory for my partner Ron Mons and our producer Joshua Wilkie. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and have a fantastic weekend.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.